Hey guys, welcome back to the Mortgage IQ Show, where we talk everything sales and marketing in mortgage banking. I'm Stephen James. I am flying solo today, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the nuances of email marketing and how to best approach this channel. Just a little plug about us before we dive in. Mortgage IQ has been delivering CRM, lead management, and marketing for retail, wholesale correspondent, and or consumer direct lenders for over about 30 years now. All right, let's dive in. So it's safe to say everyone is pretty heavily using email marketing nowadays. And we're always trying to write a better email, craft a better message, use better implementation strategies to get our customer to take that action that we want them to take. In order to do this better, it can be really helpful to kind of take a step back and re-examine the nuances of the email marketing as a channel and how it's different from other channels, and maybe how we can alter our strategy and our execution a little bit to make the most out of this medium. To start, let's go back another step and let's ask the question, what is an email? Why is that form of communication special? How is it different from text, from social media, video, and how has that experience evolved from when email first started? We can all go back in time to when email was plain text, and it was pretty much a short message over the internet from one user to another user on demand. And things have really evolved over the years as the tech has evolved. From a very simple message, point to point, to more elaborate email design and graphics and rich text and video and URLs and buttons and responsive, beautifully designed big templates and all of these things. And then let's look at how the user experience with email has evolved over time as well. So back in the day, you had users seated at primarily what would be a desktop computer, where they would dedicate time to carefully go through their inboxes, which were not overly inundated back in the day. And this was literally a sedentary experience. And as time went on, email became more and more evolved. More people were doing it. There were more email marketers, which meant that inboxes became more saturated. And then desktops evolved into mobile computing, mobile devices, to nowadays where everyone's on a smartphone, checking their email in the same manner as they would check a text message or another quick form of communication. And on another note, the email platform technology and the various email clients and providers have really developed a lot as well in terms of how they manage inbox behavior and regulate spam and categorize emails into different categories and really take a huge active role for their users in terms of managing people's emails. Now, this can be an episode all on its own, and it does play a huge part in our overall strategy with the channel. So if you really look at it, things have really changed a lot with email, and sometimes we can get into the habit of just staying with a methodology that we learned at one point in our marketing careers, where the channel is totally evolving, and what may have worked 5 years ago is probably not going to compete well today. So how does this all play into our strategy today when we're crafting our marketing emails? Now, a lot of people take the same content and just blast it across multiple channels. The more you can actually tailor which kind of content you put into a marketing email, or if you are going to use the same content, tailor it to the email format, the better generally results you're going to get. Email is really unique and has a sweet spot, kind of where text or social posts meet a blog or a long post, in a sense that it has more depth and content capability than, let's say, a text message or a social media post. You're not fighting for a small amount of characters. At the same time, though, it is still a mobile, quick brief format of messaging and communication. And so people are skimming an inbox or briefly looking at an email very similarly nowadays to how they would just look at a text or social media post. So we're talking seconds. And so the key is to take the opportunity to convey enough information and content to communicate your message and present a clear action item and an enticing action item for your user, but at the same time not to lose them and not to get lost in the sea of other emails. And we also mentioned how template design has really evolved, and now you have all these capabilities and bells and whistles to put in your email templates in terms of graphics and showcasing your branding and videos and design and responsiveness and all these things, which is awesome. But maybe something that was impressive or striking 5 to 10 years ago in terms of email marketing is more and more now not even making it to a user's inbox. Because again, like we said, the email platform, the spam filtering and the categorizing is so complex where they're actually trying to filter out messages that look like they're too branded or have too much marketing isms going on within the email, which is typically a lot of graphics, a lot of rich media, things like that. And they're getting smart. And in addition to this, the user is getting quote unquote smart. So, maybe what used to impress a user with a really beautiful looking template and all these graphics and everything, nowadays the user has kind of become a little bit embittered and trained to shy away from these marketing blast emails and look for things that appear more genuine or maybe more personal in nature. For instance, if I was going to write an important personal communication to a contact that I knew personally, it would probably be pretty much plain text, or maybe if one or two pictures if I needed to put something or to illustrate my point. So this isn't to say you need to get rid of all of your awesome looking graphics and your branding, in your marketing emails. It's just maybe you got to find that sweet spot of how much of that do I want to use versus how much of that do I want to risk maybe setting off a spam filter, turning off my user in a sense where the trend now is to be more personal, and users are used to seeing short personal social posts for marketing. And then finally, look at your template performance. So part of that is, the more bells and whistles and things that you have going on your templates, the more that there is to potentially render incorrectly or to go wrong on your user's end. Because again, nowadays you have so many different email platforms and clients, and a lot of them are very picky and very nuanced with what kind of tech they support in terms of taking a HTML rich template and rendering that for a user's simple smart device. You run that risk of something not displaying correctly or losing your user with a bunch of images that are broken that aren't displaying or being blocked, again, because you're trying to do too much with that template design. So in short, nowadays, like with most other things, the right balance and the right mix of the way that you craft these emails is kind of the winner for the day. So you're brief enough to, again, capture the user in that short window of attention span. Your templates are simple enough where they're able to get to pass the spam tests and they get categorized into the user's inbox. So they can actually see it. And at the same time, you do take the opportunity to provide some polished branding in your email to communicate authenticity and credibility, which is great. But again, maybe there's a way to tastefully do that in a balanced format where you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. And I think the best test that anyone can use is to really put themselves in the user's shoes. So we all know our own personal behavior of how we go through our emails or dread going through that inbox that is just stacked up with tons of email blasts and marketing messages and spam and all these things that just kind of make it an overwhelming experience. Or if we're on a device where we're getting notifications and alerts just all the time, you're inundated, how can we alter all the aspects of the email, including like the subject line and the preview text and then the actual body of the email, to make something that's going to technically work well. It's going to communicate the message clearly and enticingly to the user. It's going to provide some type of value or maybe even entertainment for the user, just enough. and it's going to get the job done. And so it's finding that right balance and the right mix of those things. And that's going to differ per your situation and maybe the type of user that you have, their behavior might differ a little bit. The key, again, is to just keep these things in mind. And instead of just having a kind of one-size-fits-all approach to your email marketing strategy, really try to tailor things and rethink, why are we designing a template this way, or why are we doing our email messaging this way, when we could really tweak things to take more advantage of the state of the channel today. As always, we hope this has been helpful for you. And if you have any questions on email marketing or anything sales and marketing in mortgage banking, feel free to reach out to us, and stay tuned for more on the Mortgage IQ Show.